the drum Q&A. I don't know if that's actually going to be the title or not. I think a lot of things are probably going to be changing between now and then. But yeah, for now, let's kind of see where it goes. Since everything's tentative right now, I'm just going to see some feedback. I'm going to do some edits, see how everything looks. But we're going to call this episode 1, the intro, because I want to get a more dynamic location other than an office. I feel like it's kind of boring to look at. So hopefully in the future, so the next episode will be something outside or just make it a little more visually appealing. So for now, we're just going to do the intro, which I was planning on just going over what I want to get out of this, what I'm hoping to offer other people to give value and get value. I think this can be a good reciprocal approach to giving things that I've learned through my own experience or through the things that I've been taught or researched myself, and then also be challenged by questions that maybe I have been avoiding. I know there's probably a couple of things I should be doing that I don't for whatever reasons, and some things that I maybe don't know that somebody was going to ask that I'll have to actually look up and get knowledge myself and feed that. So I'm hoping this can just be a way to learn, teach, and just keep a cycle of education and just tell stories, kind of see what we all go through, because as drummers, it's an interesting thing. I mean, being a musician in general comes with a lot of, perspective and a lot of things that people don't really see. So I'd be kind of curious to see what other people think about it too. But rambling aside, I'll start the intro with just a few things about myself. So I lived in Oregon for a while, and that's when I started drumming up there when I was 16. I started probably beating on things and getting kicked out of classrooms probably in about 7th, 8th grade. So it was in me, I would say, from an early-ish age, and I always enjoyed creating, and I grew up listening to a lot of different kinds of music, so it kind of came natural that I would want to express myself in that way because I enjoyed the music that I grew up on. So I started doing that, and I saved up for my first drum set when I was 16 years old, and I still have it. It's still the drum set that I play. The Tama Superstar SK, metallic gray. She's beautiful. The only thing that really changes about my kit is the number of cymbals that I go through, because I don't have poor technique, but I do bash the shit out of my cymbals on purpose. I can play my cymbals well and with proper technique, and I usually do, but when you're playing live and you're playing metal, some of the showmanship takes over from the technique. So I've broken quite a few cymbals in my day. So I changed that a lot, but the kit's pretty much the same since I started drumming. It was a 7-piece. I've broken it down to a 5-piece, just something I'm comfortable with, less to lug around, and I don't really need it as much. So that's my kit setup. I've been playing for 9 years now, almost 10, and first, I'm going to just start taking questions that I see online a lot. So I'm part of a lot of forums on drumming, on Facebook. I see a lot on the internet since I do my own research. I've never really had a teacher. So it's kind of been always on me to be self-motivating and to research, where my weaknesses and how to actually find a solution to those weaknesses. So I've done a lot of research, seen a lot of questions, and I'm going to start out by just answering some of those that I see daily or weekly or, whatever. Things that interest me that I think I can add some perspective on and some value. So next week's question. So episode 1, if this doesn't count, we'll call this episode 0, intro. Episode 1 is going to be where to start when you start drumming. And that's a big open-ended question, and because it's art, there are going to be endless answers to really go with it. But I'm going to try to offer some good general strategy, blanket statement, can't go wrong when you start drumming. And I'll give you my story on how I started, and hopefully it'll offer some good value to y'all as well. So obviously with a Q&A, it's going to be primarily focused on my perspective through whatever questions that I either find online that I think are pertinent or questions that I get from the community. So it's going to be basically just what I've learned, and what I feel like is important to get across. So I've joined bands, I've broken up bands, I practiced a lot, I practiced a little. I've really ran a lot of spectrum, and there's still things I haven't done yet. I haven't toured, I haven't, been commercially successful yet. There's a lot of things that I haven't done. There are a lot of things that I have, but I feel in a good place in my passionate career right now that I can actually share something back to the community and also get something back as well. Because whatever I offer out there, if I help somebody, it's just good karma, and I'm not going to ever, deny good karma. That's great. But also I know I'm going to learn a lot from questions that are asked and counterpoints to thoughts that I already have. So I do look forward to that as well. And I'm hoping to grow from it and help people grow. And that's going to come from my perspective, because really that's what helps you along in your career and really in anything you're trying to do. There's a lot of black and white things that will get you along the path, but really somebody's perspective that can speak to you. Like, I've been very influenced by people that were much older or played longer, and just hearing them talk and hearing how they talk about music and drumming, it's very inspirational, and it'll take you to a place that you can't just get from literature or even just practicing all the time. Sometimes you need to just hear it from a different perspective or a wiser perspective, and that's what I'm trying to put across here. Not reinventing the wheel here. You could probably find most of my answers to any question you might have online somewhere. I might have even gotten the answers eventually from those sources. But I have a unique perspective, and I'm hoping to offer it up. That was the intro to the series. There's not a whole lot to it so far. It's going to get more quality as questions come in. It'll get more valuable as I learn and as other people learn along the way about what this is really going to be, what it evolves into, because I really don't know. I'm starting a drum Q&A because I have a unique perspective, and I'm hoping I can help somebody in their journey of being a drummer. And I also hope that through all of this, I get some value too. If I help somebody, that's enough value right there, but I know for a fact that through counterpoint and through questions posed, I'm going to learn a lot too. So this is just going to be a really cool reciprocal project I'm starting. We're going to see what people think. We're going to hear stories, get experiences, all evolve in our own perspectives by learning other people's. So and then talk about drums, which is kind of the most badass part about all of this. It's not just life and career, and it's really anything related to drums and music. I might just start listening to songs and fucking talk about how cool the drums are. I don't know. Kind of leaving it up there. But for now, this will be the intro. We're going to start answering questions next week. And the first episode will be, though, where to start when you start drumming. Because that's where you should start when you make a new video series. Where to start. Maybe I should have watched a video on where to start first. No. I'm just going to go off what I want to go off. Where to start drumming. And I'll give you a hint. Rock band. It's rock. Alright, y'all. See you next week. This is gonna be all fucking chopped up because this is so weird for me at the same time. As fun as this is, it is weird staring into a camera and just speaking. I don't know. It's not something I usually do. Usually I'm just behind a drum set.